Welcome back to Flashpoint. Early voting now underway in the Republican South Carolina presidential primary. And this could be a make or break moment for Nikki Haley's campaign. The former governor trailing behind former President Donald Trump in her own home state. Joining us now is political professor Chase Meyer from the University of South Carolina. Professor, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
So the latest polling out of South Carolina has former President Donald Trump up by 30 points over Nikki Haley in her home state. At this point, based on your experience and your knowledge, does she even stand a chance?
Well, a chance of winning? Not very likely. It's rare, if not impossible, for a candidate to make up that much of a margin or for a polling error to be that large. Occasionally, candidates can get momentum and make up a few points. Occasionally, polling errors will happen where the polls are off by 5, maybe 10 points. But 30 points, I have a really hard time seeing that happening.
She was a popular Republican conservative governor in this state. Why do you think she's not doing better?
Well, the main reason is that Republican primary voters just really like Donald Trump. A great example of it is the other day when Tim Scott was on stage with Donald Trump after he endorsed Donald Trump's campaign. And Donald Trump said, "Hey, Nikki Haley is the one who put you in the Senate. You must really hate her." To which Tim Scott said, "Oh, no, I just love you." And that's honestly a good way to describe South Carolina primary voters. They like Nikki Haley. They have good opinions of her. They would probably vote for Nikki Haley over almost any other Republican. But this is Donald Trump. And Republican primary voters in South Carolina absolutely love former President Trump.
Let's forecast this out. Nikki Haley loses election night there in South Carolina. What happens next then for her?
Well, she has already said that she's staying in through Super Tuesday, where there's going to be a lot of other big states like Michigan and California. She said she's going to stay in. Politicians say that all the time right before they drop out. For Nikki Haley, she can stay in so long as she has money behind her, so long as there's donors who are donating to her campaign. But she can only convince those donors to keep writing her checks if she says, "I have a path to victory." So if she were to somehow do really well in the South Carolina primary, say she gets 40% of the vote, she can say to the voters and to donors is that, "Hey, about half of all Republicans want me, not Donald Trump. I have no reason to drop out. If I'm getting half of the vote or close to half the vote, why shouldn't I stay in?" If that were to happen, the checks would still come in.
Do you think part of her calculus here is a waiting game, hoping that if she can stay in long enough, even if she's losing, that the Trump campaign might run into some more legal troubles or one of the trials, something happens there, and then by default, she all of a sudden becomes a more serious contender?
You can make an argument for that, but logistically, let's play this out. Donald Trump's first trial is going to start March 25th. It'll probably last a few weeks, maybe a few months. Let's say it wraps up after 2 months and it's going into May or early June at that point. Almost all the primaries will be over. The delegates will be awarded in almost all the states, which odds are Donald Trump will rack up a commanding lead. So if his legal troubles get worse, if hypothetically he gets convicted, there are still going to be those delegates are going to be the ones who choose the nominee. Those delegates that he has already won, who have already pledged their support to Donald Trump, will be the ones picking the nominee. Nikki Haley is not going to convince those people to vote for her. So to see Nikki Haley maybe be an alternate if Trump's legal troubles get worse, that ignores the fact that there's already going to be pledged delegates who are promised to vote for Donald Trump. It's hard for me to see his legal troubles denying him the nomination just due to the calendar, just due to the fact that so many contests are coming up and those delegates are bound to vote for who they say they will. They can't just be promised and pledged to Donald Trump and then all of a sudden, change my mind, got to vote for Nikki Haley. They'll vote for Donald Trump on the first ballot. That's what they're bound to do.
You mentioned Tim Scott. Do you feel like at this point, the Veep stakes is his to lose?
I don't know if I would say it's his to lose, but he's absolutely a top contender. There's been rumors of other candidates like Kristi Noem, the governor of South Dakota, is one contender. There's going to be various arguments for which candidate should be chosen. Donald Trump certainly cares about loyalty, but other people would talk about using the VP to help expand voters. Like if you're a voter and you love Donald Trump, you're going to vote for him no matter what. So putting a VP on the ballot should be someone who can maybe expand your potential, someone who could convince the voters like, I'm not 100% sold on Donald Trump. Okay, but I like this VP choice. Maybe I'll vote for them. So the big question is, who can Donald Trump choose that might expand who will vote for him, who might pick up voters that he might not normally get? Is that person Tim Scott? Is it Kristi Noem? Is it someone else? That is a possibility. That's what's happening behind the scenes. Those candidates and the surrogates for those candidates are making their case to Donald Trump to say that I can help you win. You pick me, and I will make it more likely that you'll be back in the White House. How good are those sales pitches, though? It's hard to say, because historically, VPs don't bring that many more votes. They're not going to be someone who will win multiple states for the candidate. But they can bring a few votes. And in a close election, like 2020 was, a few votes could swing the result.
Yeah, it can make all the difference. All right, Chase Meyer, professor at University of South Carolina. Chase, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
All right, take care. Up next on Flashpoint, most vulnerable kids in our schools are missing weeks of learning every year. Coming up, our investigation into why students with disabilities aren't getting the help they need.